fish there, look. Baler net wrap's playing up anyway. 60 Fingers has swapped me. He says he's Baler man. Anyway, we are. Little thing, I don't know. It's an odd baler. When you go to a field, it always plays up for about 3 bales and then it'll bail all day after that. It's just odd. Anyway, he says he's Baler man, so he's baling. I'm off to my mate Jeremy's for a lot of compost. To say the wheat next door is on such poor quality sand land and in a droughty time, it's looking pretty promising. Me and our neighbours stood in it yesterday, gobsmacked how big the grains were. You know, not massive, but in a droughty time you'd think they'd be like pinheads, but they're quite big. So, right, I'm on the road now, so I'll cut your lips. Morning, it's the 19th of July and the sort of lull before the storm. I don't know whether it gets to us today, but we're expecting some terrible thunderstorms. But anyway, just come down to these ladies and Django, and this bugger, I don't know, it's a bit off colour. Usually they all, what we do, we sling a bit of barley in there, a bit of rolled barley, just to tempt them and keep them, they don't really need it to be this because they're in real good condition. To say the grass is so poor, they are getting a lot of pickings from it and keeping them, well, they're quite fat. But anyway, there's this lady stood aside. She's not that bothered about her barley this morning, so we'll just have to keep an eye on her. But yeah, it just feels very thundery. I think she's alright. I mean, she's not snotted up or out like that as though she's got any, you know, any like cold symptoms. I don't know what's up with her. The rest of them are doing fine. How long we leave Django in, I don't know, but and what his future is, he may be going back into the fat yard, but unless someone wants to buy him, well, we might buy him, I don't know. We ain't decided yet, because he's hell of a little fella, really. Whether he's dabbed these, we'll probably test him about Christmas time. Oh, anybody with electric fences? I think this is a must. This little solar powered trickle charger. They aren't dear. I think it was about £30. We haven't changed the battery yet, and it's been on, well, at least 10 weeks. And yeah, it just sort of trickle charges that battery up, so peace of mind that your battery ain't going flat. Morning, it's the 21st of July. We're just inspecting our barley after listening to it pounding down with rain. Saturday we got 20 mil quite sharply, and yesterday we got 10 mil in a couple of hours of heavy rain. So actually our barley I thought would be pounded a little bit more, but it wasn't really rotten ripe before it got it. But the forecast is pretty grim, sort of on and off showers, and we'll do well to sort of get going this week. And as soon as it lets us, we should have had a go Friday night. Phil came into, well, I was having a beer in my garden. He says, are we having a go? And I says, oh, we've finished for the day, you know, bugger off. And I wish we'd not. And I sat there sort of listening to combines at distance thinking, Christ, I wish I'd said, let's have a go now. And 3 hours we'd have done a field of, we'd have done a 10 acre, and maybe these 20 acres easy. But anyway, we didn't, so, but we'd have had a lot of straw laid out, so that would be a disadvantage. That'd be all to turn and one thing or another, so you sometimes don't know what to do for best, do you? But the barley itself has withstood, you know, it isn't brackling down yet, so it's not now to worry about at the minute. But yeah, me and dog are off to feed some cattle, and then well, it's one of them days today. I think it's sort of maintenance day. We've got some Yorkshire boarding to do at my dad's. We've got this shed to sort of, we keep having half an hour at this steel frame shed we're building. I think I might get Ollie on that today. Whether we're going, well, we won't get any frame up this week, I don't think. Well, depending on what happens, but anyway, take cattle, see if they're all right. Daily routine, really. Sort of have a ride round and decide what we're doing for the day. Like I've been round Barley, had a look at Barley, beat, on way down to cattle. Every morning we'll come down here, put a couple of bags of creep in the creep trough for calves, and just check the cows. Sometimes decide whether they want a silage and a straw in their rings, because they haven't had a lot of food lately. But since this 30 mil of rain, the grass has just greened up unbelievable. But it could do with a grass harrow really, and leaving empty for a fortnight this top grass, sort of to let the muck work itself in. Because look at shit, it's just like manure all over. But there's nothing ailing these lot. I mean, in fact, he's a bit, our fatty's big lad. Calves are doing marvellous. Some lovely heifer calves, and we're planning on keeping a few, either to go to a new Hereford bull, or whether we keep a crossbreed of continentals. We'll see how Django's calves come out. You know, it's all about making money, and in it, I like the look of the Hereford, pure Hereford, the pedigree Hereford herd. But it's all what puts money in the bank, innit? If you can get a calf ready 8 months, 10 months before by mixing continental among it, it's maybe the answer, especially if they grow all right. You know, they grow all right and finish all right, and they'll probably come back at more money, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, we're next year we'll have a lot more numbers. But where to put them, I don't know. We'll have to maybe put some more grass down. But these are in a very small area, but doing fantastic. We never bothered feeding much creep last year. Anyway, a mate of mine did a right experiment. He had 2 paddocks. Calves in one, calves in another. Or cows and calves in one, cows and calves in another. And put a creep in one, no creep in the other. Christ, the evidence was unbelievable. The difference in the cows for being drawn, you know, because obviously the calves were getting more off the cows, you know, taking more milk because they were more hungry, where they didn't have creep. And the cows were drawn, so they were skin and bone, and the calves didn't do as good. Their growth rates were sort of half. And these, I've got them a bit fit actually. I could do with cutting back a bit, I think. But our calves at this time of year are a lot bigger than they were last. So I think for the cost of it, it's not cheap, but the cost of it is definitely worth doing. Right, go get them some minerals, because bloody hell, they've gone through some minerals. And it's as though the boluses are maybe running out, because all the cows have got a bolus in. And that's like a slow release pellet in their stomach. And it's as though, and they weren't touching many minerals, but something's taken them. There's 3 empty buckets this morning, so they're on a general purpose, then they're on a high magnesium, and they're on a garlic one as well. So garlic ones to keep flies off them, but they have had a drench, so when we TB tested them, so hopefully that's keeping a lot of flies off. Django was the wrong side of the wire this morning. The corner post being pulled up, whether he's been rubbing on it or what, but first of all I blame deers, because we keep having bother with deers running through it, because obviously they don't know what it is. But under further investigation, the bloody clips have been taken off the battery, but who's done that I do not know, because I don't think we done it. Anyway, he's been up and round here as Django. He's been in there, been doing a bit of exploring, his lad. This is somewhat going in with Westerwald grass, because it's very high sand here, and we could put a fence over before the heavyish land, and over winter they could stay out here till these calve in February. Well, it's late February, I think. He ain't been showing a lot of interest lately though, so whether I know he's curling his lip this morning, but whether he's dabbed them all, let's hope. But yeah, battery were off. But since this rain, Christ, there's a hell of an unbelievable flush of grass. I mean, we don't need to bring these any more food now, as long as they've got plenty of minerals. Yeah, the earth was off. And the earth was off on the machine itself, and the earth on the battery and the solar panel was off. So we can't weigh it up. It's as though something's bumped it. Oop. Okay there. A very steady plum day. It seems damp in the air. We've just had Phil's been muck spreading all morning, and we've shipped him off to another farm at Burnby to do a 27 acre there of compost, which our Ollie's taking the last few loads there. And whether we're going to go at combining later on, I don't know. We've just bit it now, and it's very soft, but as soon as it gets to sort of 18-19%, we're going to have a few drier load, we think. you know, if we get 25 acre knocked down this afternoon, it will be a bonus. But whether we have a go, I don't know. But at the minute, it's very, very, very damp. And I don't know, there's chance of showers, but there's always something to do here. I mean, like I said, he's muck spreading. Ollie's leading, then he's off cultivating. We're going to put the Apico on, I think, and do a bit of Apico in. I'm sort of keeping everybody going and buggering about with my steel work. You don't realise how much time's involved, you know, like even to cut in the brackets for what the purlins go on and drilling holes and one thing and another. I mean, it's quite rewarding when it is stood up, but yeah, there's some work involved. I'm drilling holes at the minute with this monster. What it is, it's a Denby pillar drill. God knows when it was built. And it's either got pull on handle or you wind this. You click that across and you can wind that down. And it's a very, very good pillar drill. Probably, I would say, pre-war, I really would. This probably made stuff for the World Wars. Back in the day, probably driven by steam and a belt, you know, or a water mill. But now someone's converted it to an electric motor. Hell of a thing. See, the bit it's cut out is inside there, so you have to get a little poker and knock it out, or get your knife.